Caledonian Elixir. Welcome back to the Caledonian Elixir. We had to take a brief intermission there. However, this is part 2 of the great comeback, Gareth John, and he was speaking about his short-lived career in wrestling, where he competed amongst the finest and fittest women on the planet, such as Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. He wishes.
I wish. It's like Isabel Hell from Birmingham, I think, was the biggest.
Did she kick your ass?
Well, we did a spot meeting where you sort of map out the match. Then the day that the match was supposed to happen, the ring wasn't set up right. I wasn't happy with it. I didn't think it was safe. So I postponed it. And then she got all fucking pissy. But we were kind of seeing each other and stuff, which wasn't supposed to be allowed. We fucked on a train with a half pen, what do you call that shit? The adrenaline pens. Fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, we never got to reschedule that match. But I'd wrestled a couple of girls before that. One. But again,
what was your finishing move? Did you have a finishing move?
Yeah, I did a finishing move. It's called the Brimstone Stunner.
The pussy puncher.
Oh, when it comes to lassies, it's like the fucking Barry Connect, you know. You grab a pussy and you stick them in the asshole, you know. Then knee them in the middle, and then let go. Double uppercut to the tits. Grab them by the armpits. Slam the fuck down. Lift the leg up. 1, 2, fucking 3. Because I wasn't, like, when I wrestled guys, I would always go for submission. But, like, this is something I've never actually thought about. Most of the time when I wrestle women, I go for a free count rather than submission. But I would use submissions throughout the match to wear them down.
Yeah.
I've never, like, had a lassie, like, I've never had to snap a lassie's ankle.
Right.
Or like, if it's a camel clutch, like, they've tapped, you know. Like, they tap, like, I've never actually had to choke a woman out.
Do you know, human beings have evolved for over 200,000 years, and long ago we were an insignificant animal minding our own business in some distant corner of Africa. Millennia transformed itself, so we became the master of an entire planet and a terror of the ecosystem. And today we stand on the verge of becoming a god, with Gareth John poised to capture the women's title against, what was her name?
Isabel Hill.
Isabel Hill.
Or Izzy Hill.
So mankind, for hundreds of thousands of years, wrestled against the elements, survived against all odds, so you could get in a ring, punch a chick in the titties, punch her in the pussy, and put her in some submission. And what, man? Why the fuck were you wrestling chicks?
Well, I was one of the only few people, well, the only guy that was up for it.
Yeah, I'd imagine that would be the case.
You know, it's like, but like, when we grew up watching wrestling, the Attitude Era, right? Intergender matches
Didn't happen.
I did.
No, it didn't.
China won the fucking
Women's title.
She won the heavyweight as well. She was the first one to win the heavyweight.
China.
So WWE.
Who did China beat for the world heavyweight title?
I cannot remember, but I remember her winning it.
How did she win it? I can remember how she won it. She never competed against a male athlete, male wrestler, and beat him. That's not what happened.
But I mean, even like intergender tag matches, like they still have them.
Like, you had the women back then, you had like Sable and shit, right?
Yeah.
And Sable was more of a sex icon, right?
Yeah, she was a model.
Yeah, but she still wrestled, and she was a women's champion for like a year.
Yeah.
And then you had that black chick, Jacqueline, right? Yeah. I don't know if you can remember her.
What's her name? Trish Stratus.
Then Trish Stratus came on scene, and she had the big titties, right?
Stacey Keebler and
right, the Stacey Keebler had the legs and the ass, and she had that dance which just had it going on, right? So
Lita was my favourite.
Yeah, Lita, right? But here's the thing, man. You really didn't get Triple H against China, or sorry, Triple H against Lita, or
did Lita not wrestle Edge? I'm sure. Like,
it was a mad thing where they had that once, but you didn't really have like Triple H against fucking Lita or Stone Cold Steve Austin against because the guy's going to kick the ass of a chick almost every time.
I mean,
I understand because of your stature, you're like, well, but I pose the question to you again, right? So you're opposed to transgenders competing against female biological women. Is it right? You're opposed to that?
Yeah.
You're not opposed to yourself competing against biological women?
Well, to be fair as well, with my frame, I'm still on the level of a female athlete.
So you could be an estrogen-filled little fuck toy.
Which I'm not.
You're saying with big titties, all this cosmetic surgery done, and they can't compete. They've got a willowy kind of frame, a big bulbous head with big black eyes. They appear in the middle of the night, abduct you to this, and you've got screams just kind of sounding through your fucking home. They can fucking.
I don't know,
what am I talking about? Wait a minute.
That
wasn't wrestling. That was a memory I had when I was 14. Shit.
What was her name? What was his name?
What was that? Was her name? She was called
Safarua.
Fucking Sad Guru. He was a sad guru after he started abducting kids.
I mean, there's like when you've got someone like this one Leah Thomas, right, who was a man till like 2 years ago, and now they're competing in actual proper swim meets. Now, you see, when they were a guy, they were crap, right? Don't have the speed or muscle density to compete against other males.
Yeah.
And then they go into the women's division and they're hauling ass. Like, they're leaving everyone else and they're completing it or dust.
It's kind of like that South Park episode with, what's his name again? Macho Man.
Yeah.
And Macho Man takes on strong women.
That was based on that.
Yeah, but it was. But the point you're trying to make is kind of like, if you can no longer make it in the big leagues with men, you pretend you're some kind of female, or you become a female or whatever, right? And you compete against women. Yeah. Right, so if you think they're doing that because they can't compete against men, then aren't you doing the same? And then isn't that sense of inequity present with you, and you just shouldn't be doing that? Maybe putting your hands up going, I'm not fit enough to be competing, I'm just not going it.
I mean, I've wrestled with guys usually sort of divisional.
What do you mean divisional? What does that mean?
Like people in the same sort of frame and size and that. I mean, I've wrestled guys bigger, and it's just been sheer fucking luck.
I heard you sort of modelled your intro on Stacey Keebler. He would do that wee dance to kind of distract him, and then he would get so repulsed, he would collapse. Then
it was more Val Venus.
Val Venus?
Yeah, that was mental. My dungarees and my gimp mask. Remember my French Hill gimp mask?
Yeah.
Like that was my gear. looking into like play for Blood by Megadeth and doing the Valvinus dance, and you just like
Sounds terrible.
it was like it was.
At least you can admit to it.
Yeah, fuck it, man. It was well done. Dude.
Did you ever compete in the madrasas of the Middle East?
No.
What about in the research laboratories of California?
Depends what the research.
What about the locomotive steam engines in the countryscape of Middle Central Belt America?
Possible.
Did you ever compete against upgraded cyborg humans?
Not to the best of my knowledge, but it could have possibly.
Did you ever form a new techno religion that will conquer the world by promising salvation through algorithms and gene slicing?
No, but I mean that sounds like it's good. If that becomes a movie, it sounds like it's going.
Sounds like my kind of film.
It's going to have a good fucking soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just think it is a little bit hypocritical that you can compete against women, but you feel as if transgenders can't. And listen, I'm not saying that transgenders should.
Well,
I'm sort of on the fence about this whole transgender shit. You know my position on it.
I mean,
just a plurality and democratisation of sexual and gender identity and expansion of consciousness and all that jazz.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they should have their own league.
Transgenders league.
Yeah.
So if you can't make it as a man or woman, then where are you going to be transgenders?
Yeah. And if you can't make it there, then
would you fight kids next? What?
No, I wouldn't fight kids.
You wouldn't fight. I'd fight the women, but I wouldn't fight the kids.
No, because the women are old enough to know what they're fucking doing.
When I was 15, I was old enough to know if I punched someone in the face, I was probably going to get hit back. And let's face it, if you were to hit a 15-year-old, I'm sure he would probably kick your ass.
The last match I did was against a 19-year-old guy, roughly the same sort of frame, slightly bigger, muscly and taller, but not by much.
But for the audience, Gareth's about 5'11", about 190 pounds. He's very, very emaciated now. He rarely eats. He's very skinny.
I've got a 14-inch fucking pecker I have to wrap around my neck,
Yeah.
I mean, my Jap side keeps winking at Vince and it's putting him off a wee bit.
I know, it's quite wretched. It's wretched. Hide that.
Where's my penis hood? But I mean, like I said, I didn't wrestle women often, and usually it'd be like somebody's bird or something. And
I was about to mention it.
And like, she wants to wrestle. I don't want to wrestle her.
So if this guy's kind of sitting in the audience and she's
I think they're getting off it.
He what?
I think the guys that want me to wrestle their birds were into it,
And what do you mean getting off? You said getting off on it there.
Like my bird's getting beaten up, like I can't beat my bird up.
So that's what happens. Basically, what would happen is you would just get this line and string of guys who were experiencing maybe marital difficulties and were arguing a lot, and they just had these dark fantasies of slapping their partner and telling them, no, don't stop cheating on me with that guy Michael down the street or something, right? And what they would do is set up these matches and watch you beat their partner up so they could get that kind of, that voyeuristic.
That's sort of what's the word for it?
It's like a form of catharsis. You're watching something to get I should add, right, the reason Gareth John's stuttering is he's on San Miguel cocaine and green. So allegedly. If he sounds intoxicated, he is.
Allegedly.
Right, and what actually happens is higher and higher he gets, the more inflated his body becomes, until he gets to the stratosphere, he becomes a planet killer. And eventually he will consume the Earth. So we need to prevent his rise before it occurs.
Yeah, could be a dangerous guy for us.
Yeah, if you could, you would be a dangerous guy. I think you're like a spider. A lot of people say spiders are more scared of us than we are of them. I don't believe that. I think if spiders could, like Shelob in The Lord of the Rings, I think a spider would, trap us in its web and
Well, that
then eat
was
us
for the
alive.
Harry Potter as well,
I've never seen Harry Potter.
There's one that he fights off a big fucking spider.
Right.
Very, very, almost beat by beat with Lord of the Rings.
And then you've got like that film Arachnophobia that is filled with big spiders.
Yeah. Dan Aykroyd. Fucking terrible.
Dan Aykroyd's not a spider.
Arachnophobia?
No, I mean Dan Aykroyd's not a spider.
No. But he's in Arachnophobia. He's the guy that kills the spiders.
Dan Aykroyd's in Arachnophobia?
I'm sure.
No, he's not, man.
Thought he was.
No, but he may be, but he's not got a big role in it because I can't recall him.
No.
If he's in Arachnophobia, then everyone that's listening should subscribe and like and leave a comment and tell me that I'm wrong because
I think that's one of that's hurting the YouTube views. People aren't commenting.
I'm not reviewing that because I'm not going to review that film. I don't want to kind of watch it again. I'm a little bit arachnophobic myself.
I mean, I don't. It depends how big the spider is. So. My sister, Lauren, she's really arachnophobic, and like that. And she watched that film when we watched that film when we were really, really young, and it just affected her,
With arachnophobia?
Arachnophobia, which a lot of people I talk to that have arachnophobia. I've seen that
I think it's a primal fear.
it is as well, yeah. Like. Especially if you stay somewhere in the southern hemisphere.
Sorry?
The southern hemisphere.
Southern hemisphere, like the South American? Sure.
No, like like New Zealand, Australia, Tasmania. Where spiders are highly
Toxic? Sure. Venomous?
Venomous, yeah.
Well, I thought tarantulas were venomous.
No, that's on.
But spiders, like tarantulas, kill their prey, man.
They kill birds and stuff.
Yeah, so don't they have venom? If they're killing animals and shit, birds do.
I'm not actually trying to think. I know they asphyxiate their prey with their hairs. Tarantulas.
They what?
Like tarantulas see the hairs on their legs.
Yeah.
They're like sort of porcupine birds.
Fuck off.
And they spray them to the eyes and the throat until the fin can't breathe, and then they bite.
But is there any venom in their bite?
No.
So
I know people
just,
have got tarantulas have been bitten. They've never had to get
so
anti-venom.
they've just got like this toxin in their
I think it's no, just bombard them with hair. But I think there might be like a.
That's what I do with women. I bombard them with my beard.
I think they've got an anaesthetic in their bite rather than a venom. It's an anaesthetic.
Right, I get it.
Like when you go to the hospital and they give you an injection, it sort of paralyses. I think they've got an anaesthetic, not a venom. Like if a tarantula bites you, right, it won't kill you, but it will fuck up your nervous system.
Right.
Yeah, it will wear off what if you get.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I wouldn't want to be involved with that because I don't like
people
spiders.
that have had tarantulas as pets, and like the bites are nasty, and they're like numb for. Like,
I don't understand that. Why people would want a spiders?
well, you can get them defanged.
Yeah,
But even at that,
they still look.
But even at that, see if they antagonise it, like you've got to watch your eyes, because the barbs.
Sorry.
Because the barbs of their legs, like they flick the hairs in their legs towards the eyes to blind, and it can happen to humans as well. It doesn't blind them because we're bigger than say a bird.
Yeah.
That's like the main play. bird-eating spiders, but it causes a severe
So they
irritation.
fire their hair at
Yeah.
you?
So, like, you know, the way you get like an eyelash in your eye?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but like loads of them.
But are you some kind of expert in spiders?
I sometimes watch nature documentaries.
Nature documentaries?
Especially when
Right,
I'm
so the tarantula sort of unleashes an attack of spider hair
Yeah.
that blinds its prey.
And can suffocate, like, if it's a
So
bird.
if you've been feeding that tarantula like for years and you just piss it off one day, it's like, I'm going to fucking blind you, you can.
Well, you can tell because it's recoils and it's like the front four legs.
Right.
It goes like that. As it's going like that, that means like.
So that's
fuck
if
off.
it feels threatened. Like,
Yeah.
if it's like, fuck, get the
It's
fuck.
like, get fuck,
Aye.
or I'll kill you. Kill you fucking dead. You know?
I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah. So like,
Fucking drug you.
you better get something big. to-
Yeah, I mean, that whole thing is like nightmarish to me. It's,
Do you know
it's
the
the stuff of
difference
nightmares.
between a poisonous snake and a venomous snake?
A poisonous snake and a venomous snake.
Because there's very, very rare instances of actually poisonous snakes, but there's loads of venomous snakes. Right? Venom is injected,
Right.
poison is consumed.
Right.
So the only way you're going to die of a poisonous snake is if you
Consume
eat it, yeah.
it. Right.
But there's more venomous, you know.
Right.
So it's a poisonous snake.
I don't get why all these people love going into the Amazon and stuff like that, where you've got all these creatures, and it seems like a very
One of your new
threatening
friends keep
place.
snakes, by the way.
What?
One of your brand new friends keeps snakes.
Yeah, I don't want to go into what you're talking about because I don't know if you.
No, I'm not going to go into it. I'm just saying that.
I know. I actually don't know who you're talking about. I think I'm guessing. I'm guessing. Anyway,
Radio.
but like, let's forget about the spiders and the snakes.
But,
No,
well,
but just from
wait a sec. There's something else like I've noticed. See, everywhere I know that is kept snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Have a guess what gender they identify as.
Gender they identify
Oh,
as?
oh,
What the fuck?
What gender they are.
Gender idea. What are you, some kind of fucking American?
I was trying to be.
California. I mean, listen, we're Scottish. We're not American. We don't talk like that. We live in a country of women and men, not fucking imaginary cisgender man bear pigs. Yeah.
But every person I've ever met that has kept snakes has been female.
Yeah, women
Everyone.
are crazy as fuck.
A lot of people I know, well, and I've only met one guy that's kept withers. I know a guy that's kept a snake, but I think it might have originally been his girlfriend's snake, and then she got creeped out by it.
Yeah, do you know what? I don't know if there's some kind of collective subconscious basis for why females are more prone to owning those sort of pets.
Fuck.
I was going to say that. I was going to allude to that, but I didn't want to.
And a lot of them I know are either lesbian
So they
or
just want
bisexual.
to suck cocks, and because they're
Well-
not comfortable with that, they get snakes. And
No, the ones that I know are lesbian as well for the most part as well, so it's definitely a foul thing going on there.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, first of all, I think women are out there. You know, they're really. Women are wilder and crazier than guys. I mean, I don't like to generalise because we're all individuals in the end, and you get people, guys who are crazy as fuck. You get women who are really crazy too, because I'm a straight guy, right? I've been involved with women, so I don't know what. I don't really hang about with guys like that. Do you know what I mean? Like I used to spend most of my time with women in relationships with them and having sex with them. So I don't really know how crazy guys are, and apart from like my friends and my own tight knit circle, but I know in terms of being with women, they appear more unstable and out there to me, and I may be wrong about that, because a lot of women will talk about how their male partners are fucking can be aggressive, violent and abusive, and crazy and unstable themselves. As I said, I don't know too much about that, but
well, I think guys are more unstable aggression wise. I think guys have a, generally speaking, kind of a hard time sort of dealing with their anger, whereas women sort of like their mental and emotional state is more sort of
it's how we manifest our emotions is different.
Yeah. Because like, a woman would rather sit and like bitch and moan, get everything out there.
I don't actually. That's another thing with generalisations. I hear a lot of guys say that, but I've been in relationships where the woman was more likely to
fly at you.
No, the woman was more likely to keep her emotions bottled up, and she wouldn't really. She was less likely to break down and communicate how she was feeling, as opposed to me. Like, if one of us was really like, listen, we need to talk about this kind of shit, right? That was me. She was more likely to bottle that up and not want to go into her emotional state. And I feel that because she would bottle up that emotion, that it would reach a point where it would just spill over. And
no, I agree with that. And it's weird, like, we talk about generalisation and stuff, but it's like, I do find, see if a guy, like, needs to break down, he'll break down. He will try his best to, like, clear air as fast as possible. He doesn't want that shit hanging over him. He doesn't want to have it turn into anger or aggression. Whereas a woman will sort of ruminate and try and solve it, but at the same time, they don't want to bother anybody. Like, guys don't want to bother anybody if they're feeling emotional. So when they do confront their emotions with someone, they're more open and honest and quick to it. Whereas a woman, they're constantly emotional. And so, like, when they get over emotional or they have something that's really preying on them, they're like, okay, this is a problem. I'll see if I can solve it myself. Whereas a guy's like, I just need to express. Like, a woman will express.
Why don't you do a line? Because you're being furious.
When they're.
I mean, look. Here's one of the things I was really ruminating on myself. And
such a good word, that?
No, I don't like the word rumination, but you said it, and so it's on my mind. So, what is good? What is good? I'm not really certain about what's good anymore. A lot of people, like, if I can't remember, I'm going to paraphrase this, right? This isn't a correct quote, but it was Nietzsche that said he said, the vices of your ancestors will be the virtues of your descendants.
You say that a lot.
Right. No, it's so true. Like, 50 years ago, right, it was illegal to be gay in the UK. I don't mean to get married, that wasn't legal. I mean, just to be gay, it was considered illegal. And you have a segment of the population who consider transgenderism creepy and wrong, and you've got a conservative backlash against that. And among the younger generations, there tend to be more, kids that consider themselves fluid. And I really believe that in 20 years, transgenderism, just like homosexuality, is going to be a norm. And what is concerning is what's it going to be in 50 years' time. Right. And again, the whole thing about what is good is not a static thing. It is, even culturally, that is different. What is considered right and wrong in Northern Europe is not the same as sub-Saharan Africa. Right? It's really fucking not.
Well,
I mean,
in a lot of sort of African places, it's still illegal to be gay, and some countries it's punishable by death.
yeah, so I get my point is, what is it to be virtuous and good? Is it snorting lines of cocaine up your nostril? Is that what's good? Is that what's promising? Is that a rewarding career? Is it making money online? Is it creating podcasts? Is it getting into competitive sports and beating your opponent senseless in a kind of display of masculine power, right? Then what happens to that person when he gets older and he's more frail and he's weak, and he, instead of counting his vices, counts his virtues, you know? Instead of counting how long he can hold someone down below him, he counts how long he can sit in the lotus position meditating, you know? You get me?
Yeah, I've not tried that yet. I'm not for a long time. I used to meditate when I was younger. I've not meditated in Christ. Over a decade. You know, I've sort of tried to, but I've never really. You know, I end up just praying instead, 'cause it's quicker.
Yeah, so like it's like the person who goes out on a Saturday night or a Friday night, gets off her tits, and then on Sunday goes to church and confesses her sins. And that's supposed to absolve them. They're absolved, you know, they're redeemed. And it's like, what is that all about? I mean, I understand it, and I'm going to release a future podcast on what I interpret the true basis of Christianity to be, and it involves even Gnostic texts such as the Gospel of Philip, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, the Gospel of Thomas, that isn't in the traditional corpus of biblical canon. And I'm going to go into that. I'm going to go into the weeds in that, because it is really revealing, even to those who don't consider themselves Christian. It will be so illuminating, eye-opening in terms of what it really means. It is quite frightening, actually. It's like a kind of collective consciousness where we're all united under the meme of Christ, where we become a Christian. You know, what it means to be a Christian. It's. I'm going into a rant in regards to that, you know.
Well, see, like, Wallace from the Judean Bible.
Yeah.
They're now like a sort of feminist.
What is the Judean Bible? Do you know what the Judean Bible is? What do you call it, Judean Bible?
Is it not the Torah?
It's the Torah, but do you know what the Torah is?
Not overly, no.
It's the first 4 books of the Bible.
Yeah, like Genesis and
Exodus and all that, Deuteronomy and that.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then you've got
Leviticus,
the Zohar. The Zohar, which is a accompanying, you know, and there's got a lot of scholarly Jewish texts that go into. Like, you've heard of Zabbatianism, haven't you? This whole inversion of what is moral. So, like, that the prospect of, like, the way you get closer to Christ and God is through sin. You know?
What?
Yeah, like, because it is through sin that you become redeemed. You can you can be absolved.
Unless you sin, you can't be redeemed unless you've got sins to redeem.
That was Rasputin's whole thing. Like, Rasputin used to kind of, just kind of saunter the streets of fucking St. Petersburg and Moscow and shit like that, picking up hookers all the time and having orgies and shit. And it was like he was part of the Crystalist cult, and they believed that philosophy that you had to sin in order to be close to God. And maybe it seems like a kind of excuse for a hedonistic lifestyle. However, that's life. Anyway, folks, I'm going to absolve myself of this podcast and go, because, again, I'm hungry. So if you could subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. The next episode of the Caledonian Elixir is going to be on the Heaven's Gate. So check it out, people. Good night. Gareth John, it's always good to have you here, buddy. Take it easy and have a good
Always fun to be here.
Right, hasta la vista.